Welcome back to Courtship and Beyond. I hope you are all good and I hope you've had a great week so far. So one question that I get asked quite a lot is, how can we show affection towards one another in our courtship since we're not allowed to have sex, since we can't touch? And I like the question, it's a very real question, and there was a time where I thought, oh my gosh, the only way to show affection is to be sexually intimate, and that's not acceptable, so what do I do? So today I'm going to be sharing with you all 7 ways in which you can show affection in a non-sexual way. This can apply to the person that you're courting, and it can apply to your friends, to your family, to whoever, but these are 7 ways that I believe you can show affection to someone and make someone feel special without being sexually intimate or sexually involved in any way. Okay, so the first way is simply by listening. People love to feel listened to. People love to know that you're paying attention to the things that they're saying. So as the person you're courting is speaking, pay attention to what they're saying. Take note of the things that they're saying. Express an interest in the things that they're saying. If they're talking about something sports related, you know, do your research, get familiar with the things that they're talking about. While my husband and I were courting, my husband's a huge football fan. He supports Man United. I guess because he supports Man United, I support Man United too. And I didn't really have any interest in football, but because that's something that interests him, I would look up certain scores and look up certain players or the names of players that he would mention, and I'd speak to my male friends. I'd be like, yo, who's this person, so that I could come back and impress him and just show him that actually I did listen to you and I was paying attention to you. And people just love that. So if you can show that you're listening and demonstrate that you genuinely care about what they're saying, that communicates affection, that eventually will lead to intimacy as well. So learn how to listen. Number 2, study the person. Be attentive to the things that they say, to the things that they do. Be attentive to their likes and to their dislikes, and demonstrate that you know those things and that you care about those things. Again, when I was or even before we were courting, actually, while we're still friends, you're always friends actually, you're friends until marriage, but before anything was official or before there was any romantic feelings, I was on the phone to him and I was like, oh my god, I've got uni but I don't know what lecture I've got next. And then he started telling me what lecture I had, and I was like, why do you know my timetable? And he's like, oh, because when you mentioned I've figured out which days you have uni and which classes you have. And I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that. Initially I was like, oh, this is interesting, but it wasn't pervy or weird. It was actually amazing. He had been attentive to the things that I was saying. He was paying attention. He literally studied me, so he was able to help me in that time. And even moving forward in marriage, he studies me. He knows my responses to situations. He knows the things that will make me smile and the things that will make me happy. And I'm learning to do the same with him as well. There's certain things that I will not do. For example, my husband hates it when we're in the living room and the heater's on and I leave the door open. Even if I'm going to go to the kitchen for 2 seconds, he will be like, shut the door. So now when I get up to leave the room, I'm very intentional about making sure I shut the door, because I've studied him and I know the things that irritate him. And and I think when you study someone, again, that communicates affection. That shows that actually you care enough about me to find out what my likes and my dislikes are and to try and please me in that way. So you can do that in your courtship and it communicates so much. The third thing you can do is make sacrifices for the person. And I'm not asking you to make foolish sacrifices or sacrifices that are beyond the commitment level that you've made. No, sacrifices like giving up a football game to spend time with her, or going out of your way to meet him somewhere, even though it was long for you. Just that expresses so much love, that expresses so much affection. People respond to sacrifice, and ultimately sacrifices are the price that you pay to gain intimacy. So making those small sacrifices for the other person demonstrates affection, and it's in a non-sexual way. If you can learn to sacrifice for individuals, they will respond, and if it's reciprocated, you guys are both demonstrating that level of affection, which is amazing. So do learn how to make sacrifices with wisdom. And ultimately, we see that with Christ. Christ made that ultimate sacrifice. He laid down his life, and that communicates so much to all of us. Because of that, you know, we have access to the Father. So let's learn to speak the language of sacrifice. And again, I will emphasize wise sacrifices, not sacrifices that are foolish, not sacrifices that go beyond that commitment level, but sacrifices that it communicates, I've gone on my way for you because I care about you. Okay, number 4, another way to build, to demonstrate affection and to build intimacy in a non-sexual way is to be open with the individual. So in as much as people like to be listened to, be open when you're communicating with them. Express your heart, express your thoughts, express your feelings. And again, express it with wisdom. The Bible says you do not cast your pearls before swine. And at the same time, you don't want to offload everything or unload everything onto an individual. Different stages of a relationship or friendship, you know, bring about different levels of openness. But learn to be open. Learn to express your thoughts and your views and your feelings about things. Don't be closed. Don't be a wall. Affection isn't communicated in that way. So if someone's always talking, and you're just there, like, yeah, okay, cool, you don't open up in return, it's a bit, okay, like, I don't know where they're at, like, you're not really giving me anything. So let's learn to be open in our communication, dependent on the level of commitment that we've been given and dependent on the level of intimacy that we've built. And as I mentioned before, the level of intimacy is dependent on the sacrifices that have been made. You don't just give it, it's something that is demonstrated through sacrifice over a period of time. So yeah, be open with a person. There's nothing worse than someone not being open, and I'm kind of guilty of this. I'm not naturally the most open person, and I thank God for the people that He's placed around me that have encouraged me in that. And over time, I'm becoming more and more open, and I see as I'm more open, the levels of intimacy in the relationship have changed in a good way. So let's learn to be open. And number 5, spend time with each other. When you spend time with someone, naturally affection is communicated, intimacy is built up because you're enjoying each other's company. Again, you're talking, you're expressing your likes, your dislikes, you're able to study each other in that environment. And we see that in our relationship with God. The more time you spend with God, the more you get to know Him, the more He speaks, the more you can hear Him, and the more you just feel you're able to receive His love. Spending time with people is great, especially when you care about the person, and it just communicates so much. So spend time with each other, one-on-one, in group settings. Spend time together. That's a good way of building intimacy. I think I don't know if I mentioned it already, but one of the boundaries in courtship I would advise is to not go on so many one-on-one dates, just because you want to guard your hearts and stuff. But in addition to your one-on-ones, make sure you do have group activities, and in those times, again, you can still build that intimacy and that level of affection. So yes, spending time together is important. And number 6, treat them. Surprise them with a gift. Surprise them with an outing. Surprise them with something that you've heard them say they would like. And like, not in a manipulative way. Like, don't start dropping things just because you want to get something. But yeah, just surprise them. Show that you care. Like, oh, I thought about you today. You mentioned this a while ago, and I thought, oh, let me get it for you. Treat them. That communicates affection, like, very quickly. And number 7, and we've kind of covered number 7 in all of them, but speak their love language. I'm sure most of you have heard of Gary Chapman's love languages. There's 5 love languages: gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, and quality time. And apparently every single person receives love in one of those ways or 2 of those ways. Find out what their love language is and communicate it, speak it to them. In regards to touch, there is a way to touch in a non-sexual way before marriage. Things like holding hands, appropriate hugs, but do be mindful of that, because obviously if you're not married, you know, it could lead to other things. So be very, very mindful of the kind of touch you give in courting or outside of the marriage covenant. But do learn to speak their love language. That communicates a lot of affection as well. So I hope that helps somebody, and I hope you're able to find practical ways to express your affection for the person that you're courting, or to your friends, to your family, or whatever. But yeah, we don't need to engage in sexual activity to express affection and communication, or to express affection and intimacy. It's not needed. And if you perfect this in courtship, it will also benefit you in marriage. And a lot of people think when you get married, okay, we're allowed to have sex now, so oh yeah, we're going to be doing it all the time. But there will be times when you want to express affection, in a non-sexual way. So if you can master these things now, it will be great in your marriage. Yeah, I hope that blessed you guys. If you have any questions or any other specific topics that you want me to cover, please do put them in the comments box or send an email. I'm very interested to hear what you would like. And yeah, I hope you guys are blessed. Take care. Bye.